How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. I'm joined here by a wide variety of guests for the first time, more than you're used to seeing on this channel, and we are going to be doing a convention recap discussing Sakura Con 2023, which, if I'm not mistaken, was in a new building this year? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I saw videos online and everything of people walking back and forth between the main building and the artist alley. Hope people didn't get too drenched, and hopefully the walk wasn't too bad.
Really depended on the time of day, honestly.
Yeah, it did, and I'd say that the walk, once you figured it out, it was okay, but it was confusing, especially if you tried to use GPS. GPS tried to take you a weird way.
And also, real quick, for those who are new, for those we, as you can see, we have new faces, so we're gonna do a quick little introduction with some of the new faces, starting off with Emily and Amy. Want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Sure. I'll start. I'm Emily, also known as Teeny Tiny Coffee Bean, on Instagram. I am 29 years old. I use she, they pronouns. I am a cosplayer and an artist. Artist first, actually, and then cosplayer. And this is Amy.
Hello, I'm Amy, also known as Hayakaz on Instagram. I'm 29 years old. I've been cosplaying since 2011. I use she, her pronouns. Yeah, that's me.
She's the pro cosplayer.
Enchanted Bill, want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm 29. I'm Enchanted Bell cosplay on Instagram. My pronouns are she, her, and I've been cosplaying she, her. And I've been cosplaying since 2019.
Nice. Double Mischief, want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm Victoria, and we're 30-year-old cosplayers. We've been cosplaying since 2009.
Nice. Pingu, want to introduce yourself real quick as well?
Hi, I'm Stacy. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I've been cosplaying since 2014. I mainly cosplay from anime and cartoons. And I mostly focus on the performance aspect. So I really love making videos and being in contests and lip syncs and panels. So as much as I get to perform in cosplay, the better. And yeah.
Nice.
All
good. Jason and Brandy, want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Hello, I'm Jason, he, him. I've been cosplaying since 2007. Not very good at it, but you know, I try. This is one of my partners.
I'm Brandy, she, they, and I am technically a cosplay baby.
Just started cosplaying officially last year.
Nice.
Our other partner is also in the Jaybirds Flock group, but he's not here right now, but he's also last year cosplayer, so.
Nice. And Console, want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yes, hello, I am Console. I have been cosplaying since 2009, and pronouns are they/them. And yeah, I love performing. I started off kind of competitive cosplayer, weaned off that a little bit, kind of took a break from competing, and I'm kind of easing myself back into competitions starting this year, hopefully.
Yeah, went to see. And aside from Console being a returning guest here, we also have Kira's Cosplay, a returning guest on this channel.
Hi guys, I'm Kira, or Kira's Cosplay, just about anywhere, mostly on Instagram. I'm 26. I have been cosplaying for 10 years now, I think, a little over that. And I am a competitive cosplayer. That's what I like to do. I have regularly attended Sakura Con, I think, since 2014, so it has been my one and only for a long time.
Long time. So Sakura Con 2023, I imagine this is not everyone's first Sakura Con.
Nope.
Nope.
No, my first one was 2011. That was the very first convention I ever went to.
Wow. So I'll start off with Emily and Amy. What was it like? What was it like this year for Sakura Con?
It was a little bit to get used to because of the new building. So the way that they had structured the convention, years prior, I'm really used to the old style, the old format of Sakura Con, where it's all in the Washington State Convention Center. And everything is like, the panels are like on the way to the exhibitors hall. The artist alley was like right next to the exhibitors hall back in the day. And then for a couple of years, they made it across the street. So this year they have the new building, the Seattle Convention Center is what they call the whole thing now. And it's 2 blocks away. So that was a little bit to get used to because they put all of the fan panels in the new building. However, they put all the main stage events in the old building. So it was a lot of going back and forth. And this time, the Artist Alley and the Exhibitors Hall were both in opposite buildings. So more times than not, I would like have a print and I would be walking to the other building and it was raining outside. So there would just be like water damage and we were both wearing heels at some point
Ooh,
throughout
yeah,
the
I
entire
saw
weekend.
I saw your
and-
near Automata and your Ada Wong's.
Yes, I was in
Yes.
the same boots for Ada and then 2B from
Ah,
I
and those boots were like
they're
at
like
least,
4-inch
2 feet.
heels,
massive.
stilettos.
Not to mention like 4 foot long. Like what,
Yeah,
2 feet
the
long at
length
least.
is fine. At least they stay up, but the height of the heel is what matters. I even had inserts in those, and yeah, I learned my lesson. And
Feet destroyed
Yeah.
after like a few hours. My Ada Wong shoes were like, they got destroyed after 3 hours. I don't know how it happened, but the heel caps on them came off. I think it's
Oh
because
yeah,
I
she wears stilettos and because you cosplayed the original Ada Wong.
Yes, I
And
did.
she has like at least 3-inch
yeah,
stilettos.
Yes, yeah, they were about the size of Emily's
Yeah.
heels too. And yeah, no, they completely like the caps
No.
busted off of them after 3 hours
It
and I
was
had to
awful.
change. And like for the rest of the convention, because I wore her on Friday, for the rest of the convention, it was like my calves were just not having it.
no, it was.
Ooh.
After like going back and forth between the 2 buildings over and over
Yeah,
again.
I feel like we also missed out on stuff. Like we didn't feel like we had a full convention of things that we really wanted to do because of the nature of traveling back and forth. I feel like that hindered like the experience kind of
Mhm.
in a little bit of a way because there were panels that they just for some reason set extremely early in the morning.
Like the
the
cosplay
cosplay
contest, we
contest.
completely missed the
And we're in no way,
contest.
and we're
It was at
and we're in
8
no way
a.m.
bashing. We're in no way bashing SakuraCon, by the way.
I'm not bashing Sakura
Sorry,
Con,
no, I
but
love it, but
I think that the planning this year wasn't nearly as good as previous.
Is it
Sorry
the-
to anyone who planned this that might be listening. However, it wasn't as strong.
Is it? Do you think it's just due to because of the new building and everything?
I think they just didn't know how to best structure it with the new building.
That's
Fair.
fair. I've noticed that with a lot of cons that switch locations. It's just like a whole lot going on, but not really knowing what to do. It's not on anyone. It's just
No,
no one's used to a new building for a convention.
yeah, it just the nature of the beast of having a new building, having it be up the street, not really knowing how it's going to play out until you do it, which is valid,
I
completely
had
valid.
heard that Emerald City Comic Con, which is like, I forget what time that is in, but wasn't the whole thing in the new building for those that went?
Yes, Victoria and I were fortunate enough to be able to go to Emerald City and the whole thing, they fit the whole thing in a new building. And Emerald City is huge. It's bigger than Sakura Con and they fit the whole thing in a new building. I will say Sakura Con had better signage a little bit, at least in the new building, because Emerald City's problem was no one knew the exhibitors hall was in the basement because they had the artist alley on the second floor, which is great. But lots of people thought the artist alley was vendors, and then they didn't know there was vendors in the basement. So there was some challenges there. I think all these conventions are still getting used to this new space. Yeah,
I
because
mean-
it only opened up about, I think, a week before Emerald City, and Emerald City was about mid-March. Oh,
I mean, not to mention Emerald City was also back in August, just months prior at the old building. So
Mhm.
like switching from an old building again, the whole new building, old building to a new building. And of course, not only is staff gonna get confused, but the artists, the exhibitors, the attendees, the guests, everyone's just gonna be like, "Where the hell do I go?"
Yeah.
I wonder, because the way that it's structured, since it was completely split between the two buildings, I wonder if they had planned it ahead of time to be completely in the old building and then decided last minute that they wanted to utilize the new building. So they ended up splitting it between the two.
You never know.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting on that point, not to interrupt you, Wayne, but it's
Oh, you're
the
fine.
Sakura Con advertised that they were gonna be the first convention to use both buildings, and they kind of had this big advertisement about how they're gonna be the first convention to ever use both the buildings.
Okay. Interesting. So they'd planned it from the beginning.
They
Interesting.
planned it, but it seems execution was, there's some troubleshooting with that.
Yes, definitely.
They'll figure it out. I
I'm
trust
sure
them.
they will.
Figure it
The new building is beautiful, by the way. I actually preferred it more than the older building. I wish everything was in the newer building because I wanted to experience it more.
And maybe next year. Pingu, how was your Sakura Con experience?
Are we still talking about like the separate buildings or the scheduling or just in general?
Just overall in general, your experience yourself for Sakura Con 2023. How'd you like it this year?
Well, on my own personal experience, I had a great time just based on like what I was up to and my cause plans and everything and all my groups. But it was a little bit hindered because of the new building, and I have no hate towards it because it is something to get used to. And my hotel was a little farther from the new building than the old one. And so when it came to performing in panels, I had to walk a long distance and I was almost late to like 2 different events.
I hope you didn't have to walk in heels.
Yeah, I was wearing wedges or heels like the whole weekend. And then also something that was a little bit difficult, if I'm still kind of on the negative train right now, giving out information about the events I was in was hard because they didn't reveal the actual rooms that panels were taking place in until very close to the con. The actual printed out books didn't have it either. It just had the descriptions and when they were, but not where they were. But besides that, I had a great time.
Well, I'm glad you still had a great time. Now we're finally have our last panelist, Emerald. Real quick, care to introduce yourself and also care to let us know how your 2023 Sakura Con experience was, real quick.
Yeah, hi, I'm Emerald, also known as Green Brown Girl on Instagram and Facebook. I actually had a really great time at Sakura Con for the most part. Despite being in a wheelchair for most of it, people were really kind to me. But as Pangu brought up, the biggest problem was like getting around. For me, in the wheelchair especially, it was difficult because I mean, not only were the buildings pretty far apart and pretty far away from my hotel, but also I don't know if you experienced this, but I would, take my little motorized wheelchair over to the escalators to wait in line for one, or the elevators to wait in line for one to open up. And by the time one of the elevators would come up to the level I was at, there would be like between 5 and 30 able-bodied people standing there waiting for an elevator. And me and the other disabled people who were using mobility aids, or people with strollers, or people driving carts, or with really long skirts and whatever, would have to wait until all these people who didn't really need the elevator, piled in. and then we'd get like one of us in sometimes.
It's
And
interesting that you mentioned that because I was helping out a friend who's also in a wheelchair over the weekend, and she had mentioned that in the Arch building, the old building, she liked that the elevators were kind of like in the back. So if you weren't looking for them, you couldn't really find them. But in the Summit building, we noticed that they were more in the open, and we had to kind of fight people who just didn't want to take the escalator. And we're like, guys, we can't fit on the escalator. Can you please move?
There's no,
Yeah,
I've yet
right,
to see a
that's
wheelchair try
exactly
to get
what
into an escalator.
that's exactly what I experienced. I've always really liked the Arch building for that reason. It's really easy for disabled people to get over to the elevators safely and get in and out, even though the elevators themselves are a bit smaller. I never had to wait in line, and also because there were fewer people over by the elevators, if I was waiting, it was usually I was waiting for other people who had the same reasons for needing the elevator as I did. Either their cosplay was too bulky for the escalator or the stairs to be on those spots safely, or they had a wheelchair or a stroller or some other reason that they couldn't just take the stairs. And so I didn't feel bad waiting with those people, but it really frustrated me because the Summit building not only had more elevators, but like there were 2 separate elevator bays, and I was still waiting in line behind 30 people more than once. And so that was just disappointing. The other thing that I hope that they'll like I don't mind them having a mask policy, but I noticed that it wasn't enforced evenly. Like there are people on every level of the Summit building and every level of the Arch building not wearing their masks while just running around. And I got a few pictures of those people just because I was taking pictures of cosplayers at meetups and stuff, not for any nefarious reasons or anything, but and the only time a staff said anything about people's masks that I experienced was on the Facebook group when they decided that I wasn't allowed to post pictures of those people. And I think it's because it made those people look bad. It made Sakura Con look bad that those people weren't wearing their masks. But there wasn't any staff running around, reminding people to put on their masks that I experienced. And there also were no staff monitoring elevators or anything. So it just seemed like maybe they were just too understaffed to keep things moving at a smooth pace and keep everything running smoothly. So I'm trying not to be too harsh because I really think that it was just maybe they had a lot more people than they expected or something. But there were a lot of like management issues this year that I feel like were just unfortunate. And I hope that once we're a little more used to this new building, that things will run a little more smoothly. But I want to reiterate that that was a really small part of my experience. Most of my memories are of people being really kind to me and making helping me get from place to place if I was stuck, or just coming up and being really friendly to me and my friends. So I'd say that overall my con experience was really positive. I just hope that next year the accessibility issues, the mask policy, and other running the con sort of issues get figured out, because I don't have a negative opinion of con because of this experience. I think it's just, new building. It's going to take them a while to get everything figured out.
I mean, not to mention, it's still the pandemic is dying down a bit, so of course, it's gonna take some time for sure. Double Mischief, how was your experience for Sakura Con this year?
Sakura Con was very busy, very fun. Starting with Friday, I think Friday was our most relaxed day. That was the day we really got to experience the exhibitors hall and the artist alleys. and I still didn't get to both of them. I will say, even though Artist Alley is in a separate building, I'm very much a fan of where it is now because it's so huge. It's the size of a regular exhibitors hall. The past couple of years, it's been in this basement area, and it's been so hard to navigate because it's so small there. It's so crowded and so hot. This year, since it had an exhibitors hall size, there were so many artists. The aisles were so big they could fit more people in. At first, I was kind of worried about if, since it was in the separate building, if they were going to get enough traffic. But it seemed like a lot of people did know where they were and were able to find it. So when I always went there, I thought that it was really busy. Yeah. And Saturday was pretty fun. We had a couple photo shoots, and then I had a group panel. It was really fun to participate in. We ran from our photo shoot straight to the group panel, and then after the group panel, I filmed a dance cover with that group of people, and then after that, Victoria and I had to run back to our hotel room to get changed because we were participating in cosplay chess. So we had to change from one outfit to another. And again, the hotel was
I don't know
closer to
how you
the-
cosplayers can like have multiple cosplays for all those days. I don't know how you do it. I would
it's
just
just
like
time management, really, and just maybe I don't do 3 in one day. I do like 1 in the morning, afternoon, and then 1 in the evening. It's just allow yourself enough time to be able to get into your costume comfortably and be able to, you know.
I
feel
get to
the
see
comes.
Emily and Emily and Amy just like, oh yeah, we know.
And that allow yourself enough time to also eat and drink water. Yeah, and then Sunday was we had another photo shoot, and then it was just exploring the exhibitors and Artist Alley again, which I feel like they're so big this year, and I loved it. But I feel like I never got to see it all because I was so busy, which at the same time was my own fault because I just scheduled myself to be way too busy. But that was it.
Yeah, that I feel like I'm sure you all can agree here when you go to a big con, you're wanting to do all these things, but then you get sidetracked, and then like you're done with the con, you realize, oh wait, I could have done A, B, C, D, E, F, G down the list, but I mean, there's always next year. Let's see. Enchanted. How was your 2023 Sakura Con this year?
Mildly chaotic, but a big part of that has nothing to do with the con and everything to do with my hotel. Kira, I think if she's still here, she knows that story. But the con itself was good. I was part of the cosplay contest, so I had pre-judging on Friday. I did a photo shoot Friday. I had to get up super early on Saturday for the cosplay contest. And then Sunday was actually my most relaxed day. That was like the first time I really got to explore the summit building, which is a lot bigger on the inside than it looks from outside. Because you get to go hang out on that little terrace on the 3rd floor, I think it is. We took a couple pictures there. It was really nice.
Nice.
Overall, good con experience.
Well, that's always a good thing. Jason and Brandy, how was your 2023 Sakura Con this year?
Nope, I found it. Sorry, I had to find the unmute button. It was actually pretty good. Same complaints as everyone else, really, you know, as far as distance, so I won't repeat all of that stuff.
But we were kind of expecting that with having it be the new venue and stuff like that. We were totally expecting bugs to be in the system.
And we were like, well, we originally weren't going to go this year because we were like, well, let's give them a year to kind of get their stuff together and figure out all the bumps along the way. But then we were like, you know what? It's a long time before KomoriCon. Let's go. So we ended up going. We were like, let's take a chance. Whatever. We're going to go in knowing there's going to be hiccups. The distance wasn't fun, but part of that was our own fault because we picked a hotel that was really far away and it was like 15-minute walk, I think.
To the original.
Yeah, to the original building, and then a little bit farther to the new building.
That's what I heard. It's like a 15-20 minute walk between both buildings.
Yeah, between the buildings themselves, you know, it was like, oh my goodness. And then of course, if it's raining, you have to stand out in the rain and wait for the signals to go, or you have to hope that you can get across the street with all the other cosplayers, you know, typical traffic jam of feet, you know. But I mean, overall, it was pretty good. We had the same issues with finding, like, I knew where Artist Alley was going to be because I had heard from somebody, I don't remember where, but they said the Artist Alley was going to be where old Exhibitors Hall was. And I was like, oh, well, that's easy. I know where that is. But we accidentally stumbled upon Dealer's Hall because our other partner was cosplaying Urza and he needed to get his sword piece bonded. And so he walked over to the piece bonding thing and I saw motion below and I was like, I found Dealer's Hall. And then we just had to figure out how to get to it, you know. And
sounds like sounds like a nightmare of just like
trying to find things. And the only panel that we attended was the lip sync because trying to get between, you know, both buildings in time, like, oh, well, you're going to go do this at this time in this building. But by the time you get over here, the line is like all the way around the corner for this panel. And it's like, okay, well, it's not worth it. You know, but okay, fine. So we didn't do panels, but we spent 5 hours looking through the entirety of Artist Alley. So,
we got,
you know,
sucked into the vortex that was Artist Alley.
It took forever, like actually giving artists. And it was so nice, like old Sakura Cons, Artist Alley. I never really felt like it gave the artists the proper space. They didn't have space themselves to display all their wonderful work. And we, the people, were not given the space to properly give them time. It was like you're peeking over this person. I think I see a keychain I want. I can't get through. Oh, well, pass on, you know, move on. We'll go back later. And then, well, you come back later and it's doubly packed and you get, you know, but this year, so much room. We were able to
actually. It looked like it from the videos I seen on TikTok, like much more space.
So much space. And, you know, you were able to actually stop and admire the artwork and not be in everybody's way. You didn't create a roadblock because you were like, oh, look, I see a print that I really want, you know, and I got to wait to get up to the front, but you're not in the middle of the aisle. That was the issue last year, was so much stuff we wanted.
It was such a crush last year.
And when you stop to wait to be like, I really want that thing, but you're in the way because you're in the aisle and there's no way to move out of the way because it's literally a 2-lane thing, you know? So I think that was Sakura Con's biggest, like they had a lot of plus sides going for them, of course. But I think that was the biggest, you know?
Nice.
Yeah, the walking was not fun just simply because someone and I were in corsets for our fairy tale group. And, oh my God, it was not.
So constricting.
All that walking. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, between your corsets and Emily and Amy's heels.
Yeah,
Lex's armor.
Yeah, our Urza had real armor.
People's competition pieces, because those things, competition builds are usually not the most comfortable, and they have to get ready in the hotel room and then walk all the way.
I can see Kira's look of disgust. Next, Console, how was your Sakura Con this year?
Overall, my Sakura Con was really good. I feel like I was kind of, even though it was a new building, I think I was kind of already used to kind of that walking distance because it's very similar to Dragon Con, where you have the 3 hotels and then like 2 blocks away is the registration building and then 2 blocks away from the main 3 hotels in a different direction is like the exhibitors building. So I was very familiar with that walk, although because it is a new building for the first year, it was a lot more disorganized, which I think made it almost feel like it was more of a crazy walk and because no one actually truly knew where they were really going. So it hasn't been established as like this is kind of what it is. So I feel like it felt more drastic of a change versus like Dragon Con, who has been established in those literally
Oh yeah, I
5
mean,
hotels.
and then not to mention you got like the Sky Bridge connecting all that
Mhm.
too.
Yeah,
I
the Sky Bridge connects the 3 main hotels, and then 2 blocks away in one direction
Ooh.
is registration, and 2 blocks away in the other direction is the like exhibitors area
Ooh,
and also the gaming area.
can't wait to go do that. I'm sure you all can agree that these new buildings felt like it felt like a new con in itself.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, what I think irritated me most is the fact that they tried to do too many new things in 1 year. Not only was it a brand new building, but they also did a brand new system for their guidebook. They changed apps completely. They did a brand new system for, they just tried too many new things all at one time. Like it would have been better if they had just kind of picked one and then like eased their way into it, or like maybe rented out only one portion of the new building and then kind of slowly expanded, or something along those lines. Yeah, that was probably the biggest thing that irritated me is just cramming 3 or 4 brand new things that they haven't kind of figured out yet in 1 year. That just kind of made it feel like a crap show. A little bit. just a little bit.
A little bit. Vision.
But overall my Sakura Con was great. Like I really had no issues other than kind of just general Sakura Con logistics, behind the scenes logistics. But as far as like my costumes went all over great, my photo shoots went all great, the panel I was in went great. Everything kind of went smoothly for me personally as a person. We had a little hiccup with kind of hotel stuff on the first day, but that was kind of more on me and my gang than like really anything that had to do with the hotels itself. So but yeah, it was great overall for me. Yeah, I didn't even touch the exhibitors hall at all. I did not set foot in the exhibitors hall just because I spent most of my purchasing time in the artist alley because it was so huge, which was awesome. I did go to the other building, obviously, for panels and such. A little sad that I missed out on the exhibitors hall, but super excited to have seen that expansion in the artist alley. That was probably the greatest benefit, at least for me personally, for the new building. I did like kind of the way that the new building is structured for panels, because you could just kind of have like rows of panel rooms, which is really nice. It felt kind of like, okay, this is where all of the panels are going to happen, which was nice and easy for my little tiny goldfish brain to remember. I was like, okay, panels, it's like it's got to be one of these 10 rooms. And I kind of knew where all of it was. So even though it was still kind of from a logistics point a little bit hectic and chaotic, overall I think it was good, and I think it will eventually kind of settle in and find its piece.
Nice. Let's see, who did I oh, Kira. Sorry, so you still used to so many guests on here. How was Sakura Con for you this year?
It was good. I think I had an advantage over a lot of people because I just went as Lloyd Forger, so I just went in a suit and flat shoes. And I had basically nothing scheduled because I was not competing. I didn't have a craftsmanship build. Had like a single photo shoot planned, so wandering between the buildings for me was no big deal. I was like, okay, this is a new building we're gonna explore. I'm not gonna stress about it. I really like the upgrade for the artist alley. I am a complete hoe for artist alley. And I spent all of my time there, and I hated that it was in the basement before. Like that basement was so like tiny, stuffy. There's no reception. If you go in and you and your friends are like, if we get separated, I will see you at the hotel because I will never see you again. My hotel was nice and close. It was like 1 block diagonally from the Summit building, the new building.
And you went with a big group of people too.
Well, it was just me and my sister, and then Kat's hotel had a complete snafu, so then Kat moved in the rest of the weekend. So, you know, it was fine. It was fine. I didn't have a lot of stuff planned, so I was like, I have time to figure out where I'm going. I have time to deal with Kat's absolute crisis. I have time to snoop through the gigantic artist alley, which is super amazing. I went to bed early Friday night because even though I wasn't competing, I was part of the exhibition act, is what they called it this year, at the cosplay contest, which is where the judges go to deliberate and they need people to perform and entertain the crowd in the meantime. So my sister and I were Lloyd and Yor, and we had applied to be a performance skit, but they were like, hey, you guys applied too late, you're waitlisted, but we really liked your idea. You can't get an award, but do you want to come and perform as like the halftime show? So like, okay, cool, we'll go do that. It was ungodly early. I stayed up until midnight that night just for like the cosplay 18+ lip sync. It was a really long day.
Oh, jeez.
I notoriously write down a bunch of panels I'm going to attend and then miss all of them. It's terrible. I am so not a panel person, but I must admit that I do miss the little, like, they used to have like 5x7 pocket programming guides that they just printed out. And I liked being able to like circle what I want physically with a pen. I am a really big hater of guidebooks on phones because I can't, like, I have to whip my phone out every 2 minutes.
Not to mention, you know, the and I'm gonna say this with as much grain of salt as I can, the shitty Wi-Fi at big conventions.
Any con you go to, there's no cell service, there's no internet, and my phone battery.
Well, because
dead in 3 hours.
because everyone and their mother-in-law is on the Wi-Fi, and so you know the Wi-Fi is just like, okay, well, there's so many people, so those who are on the Wi-Fi can stay, but those who are trying to get on the Wi-Fi, you know, screw you.
And then the fact that it wasn't on the guidebook app, Kat and I were like placing bets before con. We're like, all right, place your bets. How long before it crashes?
And the fact that the app, the new app they used, I deleted it off my phone. I forgot what it was called. It got released. Well, there was a social media thing that went around that was like, hey, Sakura Con's going to use this app before Sakura Con even posted about it, because they didn't post about the app until I think a few days before the con.
Oh yeah, I downloaded it early.
Yeah. The website.
Posted days in advance.
Was so confusing. They did a new system for that, and there was no panel rooms listed on the schedule on the website. So
yeah,
I'm just like.
They didn't release the app until like 3 days before, and I don't know who leaked it, but someone leaked it early. I'm like, oh, I was gonna go.
I'm sure whoever leaked it, a lot of people were happy.
People, but like the app was ready to go. I don't know why they didn't release it. Maybe they were tweaking stuff still. But 3 days before a con, when especially the schedule they gave us on the website didn't give us any panel rooms. So we're like, yeah, I want to do this panel. I want to go to this panel, but I have no clue where it is.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Well, on top of that too, like we used Jay's email to register, and so Lex and we couldn't access the app at all because it was through his email. So he was the only one who had anything through the app, and like no matter how hard we tried, we wouldn't get any access to it. So
not to mention that the only place where they had like the entire panel schedule like in big print and with panel rooms listed and everything was at the lowest, like I'm pretty sure it was down by the exhibitors hall in Summit, if I remember correctly. Like they only had it displayed in one place, and so if you couldn't access the app, like they didn't have it in the programming guide, like you were kind of boned. And like I don't want to again, I'm hesitant to say anything bad about staff because I really just think that they were understaffed. But half of the time that I went by the information booths in both Summit and in Arch Building, there was nobody there to even ask for help. So
they were definitely understaffed, because the biggest negative for me at con, like overall, I had a really fantastic time, but the biggest negative was this new exhibition category at the cosplay contest, where they're like, hey, can you come and check in Friday morning? The cosplay contest is gonna be Saturday. We're like, okay, cool. We have the room. Let's go check in. I go to them. Staff has no idea who I am. They have no idea what the exhibition skit is. So I end up wandering around for like 20 minutes, eventually coming
Sounds
back.
like a lot of new people.
We eventually get it sorted out, but I'm kind of irritated by that point, because I'm like, listen.
Again, real quick disclaimer, we're not bashing Sakura Con.
You gave me instructions, I followed the instructions, why isn't it working? And then like next day, you know, had to get up at 6 a.m. and I got up, I think, late compared to most people, because I'm not entering craftsmanship. I'm just throwing on a suit and a blonde wig. And then exhibition had no place to sign in on stage. We did not walk the stage like the competitors did. And I did not know when I was going on stage until my music started. So I grabbed all my props and ran. And so I'm like,
jeez.
And then all the lights were off backstage too. So I'm like, I can't see anything. I don't know how big the stage is. Like, that's my biggest complaint, really, was like how the exhibitionists were treated. I was like, oh, cool. I'm just kind of here. Ooh. I love that.
Now, moving on. Emily and Amy, what did you guys do at the con this year?
Well, I'd say, so the two biggest panels we went to is we went to the AMV contest, not the first time it was showed, but the second time, because we missed the first showing, unfortunately. But the second time we went to the AMV contest, that was fantastic. I loved the drama section in particular. There's a lot of anime that they showcased that I had no idea existed, that now I really want to watch because of the drama section.
I know.
And then we went to the main cosplay chess.
Yeah,
and I've performed in cosplay chess before in years prior, and I have a lot of friends that perform in cosplay chess, so I really wanted to see them perform. It was great. Yeah, I love that's like my main priority every year, is to go either to late night cosplay chess or to go to main cosplay chess, and they had a really good performance this year.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I was super pleased with going to that panel.
I know we just on cosplay chess. I know we try to go to late game. I go to, full disclosure, I go to bed at like 9. So like
you have a set bedtime.
I have a bedtime, and if I'm in costume, no less, I don't know, like I'd have to like change out and then go there, maybe, if we can make it. But one day I want to go back and do late night cosplay chess.
Yes, we just got to like prepare for it. It started at 11 p.m. and it goes till 1 a.m.
Oh,
and we just like weren't quite prepared for that.
It's so late.
How late does Sakura Con run?
It goes like for like the whole 3 days.
It was 24-hour programming.
Yeah. Basically like Dragon Con, then 24/7 con almost.
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, and then like late at night, that's usually when everything is like the 18+ panels. So that's when like the kids go to sleep, and the adults can come out to play. Yeah, the rave happens.
I'm sure there've been times where kids have tried to snuck in.
Oh, I can imagine.
I mean, especially with the way that like they didn't actually put they usually have these little bracelets, and last year they put them like on you really tight. But this year they just handed them out to you, and I just put mine on my badge. I don't put it on at all. But I'm like, I wonder how many people just give this to minors.
Well, I imagine they put on your wrist that tight so you're not like taking it off.
You can't take it off.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
They're meant to be like on at all times, like you shower with it. That's just kind of.
Oh no! From someone who's had to wear a badge, a wristband, taking it off, like it can easily get like bent, damaged, ruined, and it's like, yeah, are you sure that? She was like, yeah, here's my badge as well to prove that to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Full disclosure, I am over 18. I found my wristband on the floor. That's how I got my 18 plus wristband. It was just on the floor, and I was like, oh sweet, now I don't have to go get one. I am over 18, I promise.
Everyone on this podcast series is over the age of 18. Just full disclaimer.
But I was like, I'm just glad I found it and not someone else.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was just like, that was kind of funny. That's an aside. But
well, I just miss in years prior, you would just go up to a booth and you would show that you're over 18, and they would just put a stamp on you, and you just go every day.
I remember the stamp method from other cons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What else do
I
we do?
prefer that, honestly.
Yeah, I prefer it too. It would be
But the stamp the stamp method and the showing your ID.
Or even just like, I know at least in years past, Komori-Con had the 2 different colored badges. Like yellow was for youth and blue I think was for adults. I really liked that, because then you didn't even have to go get ID checked or anything, because all of that was just before you even got your badge.
Yeah, I have to admit the wristband is kind of
Wait, yes, Pingu,
Pengu had something to add onto what Kira was saying earlier, and I just want to make sure that if she wants to say something,
I saw her the yellow light around. You were saying, Pingu?
Yeah, yes, the cosplay contest I do have something to say about, but as far as badges go, I agree, like the stamp method or like the yellow versus blue, like Komori-Con method is great, because what I did is I didn't want to have this brightly colored wristband on. I had photo shoots, I had cosplays, like, not that it like matters that much, like we're all just here to have a good time. I just didn't want to wear it, and the only thing I needed to wear it for was the 18 plus lip sync. So naturally I lost it because I wasn't wearing it. And as I was going to the 18 plus lip sync, very late, people that I was friends with were in the audience, and we were messaging each other, and they were telling me like, hey, the dude at the door is really stickler, you need a bracelet. And I was like, I don't have a bracelet. So my friend like managed to get it off her wrist, handed it to me, and then I darted to the lip sync while she darted to registration to get another one. I could have been a minor.
That's
I'm
smart.
not, but like
That's smart thinking, and the thing wasn't like damaged at all.
No, I mean, like it was a little like stretched, but like clearly they didn't care.
I understand why they were doing the bracelet thing, but I had like shoulder length gloves at one point during the day, and I could not, like, my wristband had gotten tightened over the weekend and I could not get it off anymore. So I'm like, fuck it, and put my glove on over.
All right, that is your one F word, Kira.
Dang it.
Any F words from you on here on out will be bleeped. Everyone does allow. This is a PG-13 podcast.
I feel like you're going to end up being the cat of this panel.
Oh, whoa. Okay. My webcam just like completely shut off.
Unmuted us now.
Oh no, not again.
The ghost.
Anyway, so Emily and Amy, did you have anything else to add on what you did at con this year?
Yeah, we both love to just like go to the artist alley and exhibitors hall. That's like a big giant portion of the con, especially with, as everyone has mentioned, how absolutely massive the artist alley was. It took 2 times to get through the whole thing. We had to go twice. Like one day we went and then we had to go back. It was great. We did a lot of photo shoots too. We both take photos of each other. Rarely do we actually have other people that takes photos of us, but we did get some of Leon and Ada when we met up with an Ashley. It was really fun.
Okay, so wait, why am I? Okay, you guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Okay, so apparently my webcam does not want to work now. All right, moving on.
You might have just accidentally turned it off in Zoom.
I don't know how I could do. All right, let me see here real quick. Oh. Okay, I guess I'll. All right. Anyway, Pingu, what did you do at con this year?
So my weekend was awesome. I have this really cool like streak of good luck where Sundays are usually my best days. I think it's because usually I have the least planned on Sundays, unless it's Komori-Con, then I'm doing the lip sync most likely. But that event usually doesn't take place like super early, so I usually get to sleep in. But anyways, Friday I did 3 cosplays. That was the most busy I was lineup wise. I did Rainbow High with a group. If you don't know Rainbow High, it's a doll line. Same company as Monster High. And I did a little photo shoot that day. And that was really fun because it was sunny outside. I was really pleased with the weather this weekend. It was very lovely on Friday. I did Haruhi from Oron at the Masquerade Ball.
I saw
was
your
only at the-
Haruhi.
Huh?
Your Haruhi is the one that in the school uniform or the white dress Haruhi?
I haven't done the uniform in a while, but I usually nowadays I've been doing like the white wedding dress. I found it at Goodwill.
That's a really big poofy dress.
I know, I love it. And I wore it to the ball. I only made it to the last 30 minutes, which is honestly okay because I expected a little bit more like swing style music to be thrown in there too, but it was mostly very slow, very waltzy. But it was still very fun. Danced with some nice people. And then that evening I changed into Megan from the movie Megan. And I just sort of creeped around for like an hour and then I got bored. So that was that day. Saturday I was in that group. Consul and Double Mischief, all y'all were in. And I do have a little bit of a story about it that pertains to the cosplay contest, if that's okay.
Yeah, we'll get to the story portion. Is it like a funny story, horror story, awkward moment?
It's more just kind of like an addition to what Kira was talking about with the
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically we formed this Soul Eater group and I was so excited because I love Soul Eater. I've been wanting to cosplay from it for a long time. And so I got this wonderful group together. We got together for months practicing this dance choreography for the cosplay contest. And then when we found out that we were waitlisted, we thought, okay, well, let's just keep going. Maybe we'll get in. And then we realized that we were number 6 on the wait list. And we thought, okay, 6 whole groups either have to drop out or something needs to happen for us to get in. Do we even want to be putting in this much effort to maybe not even get into the cosplay contest? Okay, let's drop out. Because one of our group members had friends who were hosting a panel called the Performance Panel, which was basically for all the people who were waitlisted or just wanted to perform in general, because the cosplay contest filled up like this fast. Like
Oh wow.
I took like a couple minutes longer than I should have signing up and it was full. Like it didn't get in. So we thought, okay, we'll do the performance panel. But then that ended up being at a time that half of our panelists, we did a panel too, couldn't make it to. And so we ended up having to just do our dance during our panel. And then we filmed it outside, like Emily mentioned, Double Mischief Emily. And that was fun and all. But then we found out about the exhibition thing and we were like, oh, we could have performed all along, but no one told us ahead of time. I wish they had like planned that ahead of time, because that would have been cool. I mean, it sounds like you were in the dark backstage and it wasn't that great of planning, so maybe it wouldn't have been like the most amazing experience, but it would have been really cool to like share what we worked on. So that like kind of sucks to hear about.
Yeah, I know what you mean by it filled up really fast. I think it filled up within 10 minutes and my sister and I got waitlisted and we were number 3. And I was like, yeah, 30% of the performances are going to drop out. I don't think so. And then I got an email the next day, like, we want to invite you to like not be eligible for an award, but you can still perform. I'm like, huh, okay.
How long before the actual con did they email you?
I think it was like 2 days after signups.
Oh,
so
well, we didn't actually drop that quickly. So I'm not,
So we knew for a while, but they were like, you need to keep it a secret. I'm like, dialing up my friends. I'm like, watch me at the lip sync.
Well, that's awesome. But yeah, the rest of my Saturday was pretty good. What did I change into that day? I can't even remember. Anyway,
you were in the lip sync. You changed.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah. I don't even count that because it's not even a cosplay. I brought my drag persona for the lip sync, which was extremely fun.
Nice.
And just camaraderie and love that was in that room was just immaculate. It was like one of the most positive lip sync experiences I'd ever had. Yeah, and then Sunday I did-
we praise drag on here, so anytime drag is mentioned.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Sunday I did MAGA again. I went to a Soul Eater meetup. It was really fun. I did a surprise photo shoot with a friend that we were not expecting to happen at all. That's another cool story, but I'll save it so other people can talk. And but yeah, it was just a really magical Sunday, and I did a lot of shopping, and I did end up exploring both the artist alley and the vendors area. And I also agree that the space was really, really nice. There was like no traffic jams. You could stop and look at the art. If somebody were to stop for a photo in the middle of the hallway, it wasn't actually that big of a deal. Most people try not to do that, obviously, because it's not super polite. But even when people did, it was like, I can go around them. So yeah, all in all, I had a really good experience. It was a lot of fun. The extra walking and kind of figuring out the new space was a little hard. Friday night, I tried to get to the new building and it was locked all around the whole building, which was kind of terrifying. But I guess it makes sense because it was late at night. But yeah, just a couple hiccups, but that's kind of normal for a con. So all in all, it was wonderful.
Nice. Well, at least you still had a good con, and from the cosplays you said you did, sounds like you also had fun doing that. Double Mischief, what did you both do at con this year?
So Friday we started off we had Genshin Maid cosplays. I was Kokomi and I was Maid Kaching. Yeah, and that was fun. And Friday was spent really in the artist alley and Happen Exhibitors Hall. Oh, we did do a couple panels on Friday. I did a couple Genshin panels and we went to that were a lot of fun. They were a lot of fun. You know what? Something that's been happening that I've been really appreciating is badge ribbons. I'm sure there was badge ribbons given out at so many panels this year. I even had badge ribbons I was giving out. They're like little ribbons you could put on your badge, and there's
I've
like
seen
a lot
those.
of California cons do it, and I'm trying to get it to become over here to the Pacific Northwest, because if you go to ALA, there's like I had a friend that went and they had like so many badge ribbons. It was like to the floor. Yeah, to the floor.
I've heard that's becoming a lot popular lately in the con scene as the badge ribbons. I've seen like I heard that Dragon Con does it a lot too.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it well, not just me, but there's a big effort to try to make it a thing now here in the Pacific Northwest Con. Saturday was my busy day because we were in two separate cosplays. Usually we try to cosplay from the same fandom, but since she was part of a panel and I had actually planned to do a brand new cosplay, I was premiering that day. It was interesting. So I premiered Licia from Pokemon, and that was a cosplay I had bought, but then tailored and basically redid the whole skirt for it. And then I had a photo shoot, and then after that photo shoot, I had a photo shoot with my Soul Eater group because I was Patty for the Soul Eater group. And the photo shoot was really wonderful. I have a lot of it was really helpful to have Victoria there because she took a lot of behind the scenes photos, which are honestly hysterical, and I've been sharing it with my group of people. And then we went from the photo shoot. Half of us went to Tengu's hotel room to get some stuff for the panel, and the other panelists went to the actual panel. So we were like almost late for our actual panel, but it was fine. During the panel, it was really, really fun, and I had a great time. And then right after the panel, the panelists rushed and we filmed our little dance skit that we originally planned for the cosplay contest, but since we didn't get in, we just decided to film it at Sakura Con. We filmed it in that little arch rooftop, the rooftop garden. Yeah, it was a really nice area. It was kind of raining on us, but yeah, that's you can't blame Sakura Con for the weather. That's typical.
I mean, it's Washington. It rains there a lot from what I've seen and heard.
Yeah, and then after the dance video, we went back to our hotel to try to get something to eat, and then we had to change into Heat Meisner and Snow Meisner because we were in main game cosplay chess. Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed coming back to the cosplay chess community. I was involved with it heavily in KimoriCon for a while, and I've enjoyed becoming part of the Sakura Con. I've done a few games there, but can't really do it with them at KimoriCon anymore since they happen to fall on Sunday. And on Sunday, Emily and I run lip sync at Kumo. Yeah. And then
Nice.
Sunday, Victoria and I were in our maid Tokyo Mew Mew outfits. There seems to be a theme this weekend, and it has to be with maids. And it's hilarious. We had a photo shoot, and then just spent Sunday really going through Exhibitors Hall and Artist Alley again.
Nice. Enchanted, what did you do at con this year?
So most of my Friday got eaten up by a crisis with my hotel. Well, I can talk about that later. But then most of when I went and did a photo shoot and then cosplay contest pre-judging, then I basically moved over into Kira's room. Saturday was eaten up a lot by the cosplay contest, which I had to get up early for. Put on a corset and heels like a big wig, which made me regret all my life choices. I spent a lot of time in Artist Alley. Like Kira previously said, I too am a hoe from Artist Alley. just leave me there. I'm good. I don't need anything else. And so I loved how they had Artist Alley laid out this year. How big the aisles were. The fact that it felt like they had a lot more artists this year, which I really enjoyed because that meant I could just walk around for hours and nobody would be like, don't you want to go see anything else? No, I don't. There's too much here. Sunday, I just hung out with my friends pretty much. It was a great time.
Nice. J-Flox, what did you all do at con this year?
Well, before we get too into it, partner number 2 is off of work. This is Alex.
Hello, Alex.
He-
welcome to this
he's
welcome
the
to
other
this
new
podcast.
babe. Our con, we started. Can I do this?
There we go.
There we go. We started Thursday. We got there day 0, went and got our badges, got a lot of compliments on our Pokemon Kikus, and someone even fangirled, or, well, I don't know how the gender neutral term for that. But they freaked out because they noticed that we were cosplaying the same Pokemon that we have matching tattoos of, and they thought that was like the coolest thing. I was like, oh, thank you. And we didn't really do anything else because our hotel did not have a pool. It was the most disappointing thing this weekend. No pool. It was 100-year-old hotel, but no pool.
No.
And then Friday, we were split cosplays. He did Roy from Full Metal, and her and I did our Powerpuff Girls, Z, Bubbles, and Blossom. And we spent all our time in Artist Alley, literally start to finish. Had to walk all the way back to the hotel to drop off the prints before they got wet, changed for the ball. We also only made it to the last 30 minutes of the ball because we can't time manage to save our lives. We didn't really do any of the panels because the first day we couldn't figure out where they were. It wasn't until like after we got back to the hotel and I was able to like really look at the app where I had Wi-Fi, that we were, they're over in the other building that we haven't actually been to yet. Well, we're going there tomorrow, you know.
We did get to catch the second AMV portion of the contest and do the voting for that, which was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I've ever voted for AMVs, so that was kind of cool. And that ran late. Oh my God.
Late.
We didn't get back till like 2 a.m, I think.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Yeah, it was late. And then Saturday we did our fairy tale group, where he wore real armor.
Yeah.
And
like actual like heavy armor?
Yeah, it's LARP armor, so it's a little bit lighter than combat armor, but it's still heavy.
Oh, that's some weight to
It's
it.
still real metal.
Are you sure it's not?
And then,
are
you know,
sure it's
walking
not,
the 15
are you
minutes.
sure it's not a full metal?
Yeah,
could use it for Al.
I could.
Sorry,
and then, like I said, her and
I had to drop a pun in there.
It's cool. He loves Full Metal, so he loves it. And like I said, her and I, we did Natsu and Lucy. She was a gender bent, and we did our own designs. Well, they were based off of their outfits, but we changed them up and stuff. And
After their 1 year gap.
yeah, the 7-year gap.
7-year gap.
So those were fun. And by the time you got back to the hotel, it was like trying to rip a second skin off of you. It was not fun.
I felt like I was being opened by an opener. I was like, no, never mind. I don't want to do this ever again for a while.
we changed out of those before going to any panels. We spent a lot of our time in dealers hall because, once again, very big, and trying to look, at least we had in mind, we were like, figures, that's what we want this year. So it made it easier to kind of zigzag through. And then we changed into our Digimon Kikus and went to the lip sync, which everybody here who did participate in lip sync, you guys did amazing.
It was so awesome.
It was such a fun show. It was really, I always love going to the 18+ ones. They're so fun. And then Sunday we did Bat Fam. He was Jason, I was Dick, and she was Stephanie.
Nice.
And we didn't do much Sunday. We did last minute shopping and then kind of perused the con.
Oh, you guys answered all the cosplay questions. I was gonna ask you what cosplays you did.
So I was late to the show. I went to go pick him up. So I was like, were we talking? What we did? Okay,
no, that's fine. That saves on time. Same with Double Mischief. You answered you answered Pingo, already answered your cosplay questions. Get to that. Emerald, what did you do at con this year?
Okay, so I actually did a lot, more than I was honestly expecting to, because I had the advantage of a motorized like scooter wheelchair this year, whereas when I was at Komori-Con in November, I only had my rolling wheelchair. So I actually got to see a lot of stuff that I was really excited to see. I'm really impressed with the D&D community, especially at Sakura Con, because I never expected that there wasn't just one, there was a bunch of D&D related panels, and even some like I got to go to one where people acted out a D&D campaign, and they had like this big inflatable die 20 that they let people in the audience roll for them. And I'm like a huge D&D nerd. Right now in my own campaign, I play a Asimar swashbuckler. And so I was like super stoked to get to be a part of that panel. And then that was on Friday. And on Saturday, I got to, I think it was either Friday or Saturday, I went to a My Hero Academia panel that was absolutely hilarious. And the like, and again, all of the panels that I went to, people were super nice and accommodating for disabled people. So like, I want to really shout out panelists and other con goers specifically. You guys were all wonderful and treated me very well, so thank you for that. And then on top of that, I got to debut a new cosplay that I've never done before. I was John from the Magnus Archives. He's the main character. It's a horror podcast that doesn't have any official art. Emily and Amy know who I was. Yay!
Wait, John from who?
John Sims. He's the main character of a horror podcast called the Magnus Archives. It's kind of like almost a mystery podcast at first, but the horror and the mystery kind of grow and become more connected as the series gets on.
If that's on Spotify, I'll have to
And
listen
then
to
also
that.
my roomie, my roomie this year was my Martin, and we kind of built our cosplays from by hand for certain parts. And so I was super excited. Like I was just covered in plastic eyeballs, and we were like giving out stickers and stuff. I even had a crown that had eyeballs on it. And then my friend Ashley, my Martin, she had a crown of clouds, and she had a shirt that was covered in clouds as well. You'll understand that if you watch a podcast. But anyway, it was so cool. I was not expecting anybody to recognize us, but there were a bunch of people who came up and wanted our picture. And then the next day we went to the BNHA meetup, and I was casual Uraraka like I'm doing right now, but in a different outfit. And again, I was just not expecting the amount of love and appreciation that I received just existing in this cosplay. I thought that the wig just wouldn't be enough for people to get it, but people were super excited to see me cosplaying Uraraka and were super supportive. And I just had an excellent time. People were so kind. And then unfortunately on Sunday, my train left at 2 p.m. So I had to I took pictures of some cosplayers in my hotel, and then I went home. But I just wanted to reiterate that I had an excellent time and people were wonderful to me.
Nice.
All right, that's the gist of it. I'm gonna mute so that because my dogs keep responding to, like, you guys say stuff and then they're like, what? Woof, woof, kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute now.
Consul, what did you do for con this year?
So the first day, Friday, I had a Fire Emblem Awakening group, and I was cosplaying Gaius. He's a little thief boy. We love him. And we started off the day with a photo shoot for our group, and I'm so excited to get those photos back. I saw some of the raws just on the camera after he took some of the photos, and they looked so good. I'm so excited. And then immediately after our photo shoot that we had with our own little mini Fire Emblem Awakening group, I also hosted a public gathering for Fire Emblem, and that went over really well. I thought that it was really fun. People seemed to enjoy themselves, and Fire Emblem's a really big franchise, so there was a lot of people there spanning a lot of different games. So it was fun, and I had a blast, and I'm pretty sure everyone else had a blast. And then after that, I was in a lot of black and a lot of pleather, and so I was dying. So I changed out, and I changed into my High Card cosplay, which is a new anime that came out this year. I was the main character. His name is Finn, and he wears a yellow suit, and he has a gun. And I love my blonde boys with guns because there's a lot of them, and I cosplay all of them.
Is that him?
Yes, that's him right there.
That's a lot of yellow.
Yes, I call it my banana suit because it's just, I am in all yellow. So yeah, I called that my banana suit. And so I was just kind of in that for the rest of the day. I went to the artist alley for a little bit. I hung out with some friends. I helped my friends take photos for them. Lots of chaos energy, of course. Yeah, and so that was kind of my Friday. And then Saturday came along. The first part of the day I was in JoJo cosplay. I was Mista from JoJo's, and I went to the JoJo meetup, and I brought my torture head, which was a big hit. And
is
if you
Mista
know
the one that wears all
JoJo's,
the
you
green?
know what?
Is Mista the wears all the green?
No, he's got the blue and orange. He's got the zebra stripe pants that are like bright orange with the blue and then this kind of silly looking hat.
You've
Hey, Consul, did you go to Himboology by any chance?
No, but I am friends with the person that runs it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I am very aware that Mista is a himbo according to the Himboology panel.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you some similar question about prom from Fire Emblem, but because you mentioned you
Oh,
like Fire Emblem.
yes,
Sorry for the
yes.
interruption.
Certified himbo. But yeah, no, I helped my friend run the Himbology panel at Hallmat, so I am very familiar with the Himbology panel. But yeah, so but I wasn't able to make it this year to their panel, which kind of sad, but you know, I had so many other things going on. So yeah, my it started off with JoJo's, which always a good time. Always fun. And yeah, like I said, my tortured head was a big hit. And if you know JoJo's, you should know what Mista and a tortured head means.
I'll have to look that up after this podcast.
Very, very famous dance sequence. And then after that, I changed into Soul Leader. Met up my Soul Leader homies at the photo shoot. Then we booked it to the panel right after the photo shoot. A little bit of chaos running, but we made it there and we made it on time, barely. Like we had like 30 seconds to spare, but we made it. Had the panel, had the dance recording that we did right after. And I was Tsubaki from Soul Leader for the panel. So best girl. And then after that, I changed back into Mista because I have a problem and I'm obsessed with him. And then just spent the rest of the day chilling. I went to the 18 plus lip sync, which was great. And yeah, I think that was on Saturday. Was the 18 plus lip sync on Saturday or was it Friday? I don't remember, but I did go to it.
Yeah,
Whatever day it was, I went to it.
Pinko said it was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
I did. I went to.
I recognized your sign as yes.
Yes. Okay. And then Sunday was. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, Sunday I was wearing Wisely from D Gray Man, and I spent majority of my Sunday in the Artist Alley. But there was also a little D Gray Man meetup that I went to. They're all 5 of us who are still into D Gray Man after all these years. It was a very small meetup, but it was very enjoyable, and I had a lot of fun. And then I also, I had a ton of friends cosplaying Soul Leader, so I obviously went to the Soul Leader meetup as well. I felt very out of place in my D Gray Man cosplay at the Soul Leader meetup, but it's okay because we had a great time. Yeah, so I got to see all of my friends in their Soul Leader cosplays, and they all look great, of course, obviously. Yeah, and that was pretty much my Sunday. Just a lot of meetups and then a lot of Artist Alley. So yeah.
Nice. Kira, last but not least, what did you do at con this year?
I didn't have a whole lot planned for myself. I cosplayed Lloyd like in 90% of the convention.
I saw that.
Just like played bingo, and I was like, every time I see a Lloyd, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I mean, it's because the anime's getting real popular, especially with season 2 out, or it will be out.
I have not really watched anime in quite a few years besides like BNHA. I don't know. I feel like I've just had it with anime, so I've been super judgy with it recently, and like there's something about Spy Family is just super refreshing. Friday night, my sister and she's been really into Animal Crossing lately, so we did Timmy and Tommy Nook for a little bit.
Oh, the Nook twins!
So we got like
I
raccoon
saw
ears.
you. I took your picture. You're so cute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we like dyed these shoulder gloves, so I dyed them like up to the wrist and like a little gradients with like raccoon hands. And she was on a really big Haikyuu kick, so she's like, I'm gonna bring out the OG, I'm gonna be Haikyuu. So like supported her for a photo shoot on Friday. She took a bunch of Lloyd pictures of me on Friday in the Summit Building terrace, and they look like strangely like model photos. Okay, like I'm working with a pro here. And then Saturday was the cosplay contest, so everyone in my room went to bed. We were all asleep like by 9:30, and we all got up at 6. We did the cosplay contest, and then I stayed up until like midnight because I went to the late night lip sync. because my friend runs it. I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't seen you in like 5 years. Let's reconnect, even though I'm dying. And then
it's worth it though.
I know. And then my sister, she's also a really big fan of Yor. So we're like, oh, well, let's just be Lloyd and Yor and let's get some photos. So we did a photo shoot. That was fun. Can't wait to see what the photographer sends us back. And then Sunday, I was just like dead. And so I was in Lloyd for like 3 hours. I was like, I need like leggings and a cardigan yesterday. Let's go change.
I feel that. Now on to cosplays. I know a good chunk of you talked about some of the cosplays you did at all. Amy and Emily, what other cosplays did you do aside from 2B, the Ada Wong's Leon, and who was the other character that you cosplayed with 2B? I can't remember his name. It always draws a blank.
Oh, 9S.
Thank you.
Yes,
I always draw a blank at his name.
Oh yeah, understandable.
I get it.
Yeah, the poor boy, he always gets overshadowed by 2B.
Overshadowed by 2B and her big
All
old
the
butt.
time. It's true.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
True.
So Friday, I cosplayed Ada Wong and Emily cosplayed as
I was Jill Valentine from the classic RE3. So I did the tube top and the skirt and the boots and like the cardigan that doesn't serve any purpose aside from the fact that it's tied around her waist. That one.
That's the purpose it serves.
That's the purpose of a cardigan.
Exactly. It's just
It was the 90s, you know.
It's the 90s.
yeah. And then halfway through Friday, we both cosplayed from Kakegurui. I was Yumeko and
I do Mary. Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait. What's the name of the anime or game?
Kakegurui.
I'm just gonna spell the name on. You guys could just send the photos of the cosplays you did because I'm not gonna try.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna try. When it comes to anime and names, it's just like, okay, if I can spell the name of the anime, that's good.
It's basically gambling high school anime.
It's
a bunch of like yandere.
Okay. I know.
Yeah.
I've watched like the first episode of the original on Netflix years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, fantastic. I would keep going.
Yeah, I would.
Wait, so you cosplayed the girl? So you cosplayed as the one with the silver
I cosplayed
hair?
as the main girl.
The main.
Blonde
Okay.
with the pigtails.
Yeah,
so you were like the protagonist. You were the quote unquote antagonist.
I'm the rival. I'm the high school rival.
I know exactly who you're talking about now. Yeah, it just goes to show how long I've seen that anime.
We didn't get any photos this year of Kakegurui, but we have photos from the previous.
Oh yeah, no, that works just so people will know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was like our comfortable cosplay after just a few hours in really hard to maneuver cosplay. So we were basically like Friday in that costume. We went to a panel and then we just perused the artist alley in the exhibitors hall.
Yeah.
And then Saturday was the 2B and 9S from Nier Automata. And then we did our own things halfway through the day. So I cosplayed as a character. His name is Suichi. He's not really from an anime, except he's from a Junji Ito's lore. So he's kind of like a horror manga artist that does a bunch of short stories.
I'm familiar with Junji Ito. Yeah, they're going to be making a anthology movie based off his stuff soon.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I literally collect all of the hardback covers of all.
You wouldn't think a guy who looks like Junji Ito to make stuff like that.
He's so sweet with his little cat.
I mean, and the same could be said for Hayao Miyazaki. You know, the way he looks, but what he does.
It's true.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Very
like,
true.
Ages.
But yeah, you were in Suichi, which was awesome because she just gets to run around looking like a half-dead little gremlin with candlesticks taped to her head.
It was great.
And
it was so fun. I was living my best life. That's my aesthetic.
She's got a hammer. She's got a little doll that's got nails in it. It's great. We got some fantastic photos of that. I kept looking at her going,
you're just smiling the whole time.
I was in the knight or the vessel from Hollow Knight, the player.
Oh, I saw that, and it looked damn near screen accurate to the video game.
Thank you. It is all 3D printed by a guy in Texas. Oh, he has an Etsy.
The mask was really
well
done.
he does them in pieces. So like he just sends you basically the raw pieces that come out of the printer, and then you have to assemble it. My photo of my cosplay is actually the shop image for him. He's been selling tons and tons more of the mask and the nail because I gave him a cosplay
I sense the theme that you guys did. You did a lot of characters from like a lot of dark anime and video games.
Yeah,
that's kind of our niche. I would say it's what we gravitate towards.
I mean,
Yeah.
also,
Lots of video games.
oh yeah, I've noticed, especially when you guys did your Chloe and what's her name from
Max and Chloe from
Thank you.
From Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, I forgot.
Again, you guys I've noticed you guys like
have
I know you guys have like a theme with your cosplays, and especially seeing with hearing the cosplays you did, like a lot of dark characters from a lot of dark, gritty media sources of media.
Yeah, it's a problem. I'm also like a huge JoJo fan. I have the star tattooed on my back. So I've
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have to see. Is it? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, same spot too. Nice.
Yep. That is the spot.
That's the spot.
Yep. I've cosplayed maybe like 5 or 6 JoJo characters in my life.
All the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I was in the night, which I love to wear. We got a couple more photos of that, which I'm happy. The tip of the nail is in 3 pieces and the tip of it came off. I have to re-glue it. It's fine. It's epoxy and then like it's fine. It's totally sturdy. It just fell off. It's been worn
It's fine. It's fine. Just some glue and duct tape.
Battle damage.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'll go back again. And then Sunday we were Leon and Ada from Resident Evil 4 ran into an Ashley, and then we just ended up doing a bunch of photos. It was so much fun. She was so excited. We were so excited to see her.
Yeah, it was so nice. That cosplayer, they're really, really cool. I was just really excited that they were doing the Mousely.
Oh, the Mousely. I've seen the fan art of that lately.
Yes.
Give it time. It'll be a mod in the remake.
Yes, here's
I would
hoping.
love that.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
But
So, yeah, that was our cosplay.
That was what we did.
Nice. Enchanted, what cosplays did you do? Because I don't think I got the cosplays you did yet on the list.
So Friday I did prejudging and just stayed in my costume for a bit. I did an original design of Eduardo and Cherry Bomb from Housing Hotel, but plan was to take stupid pictures with pure sententious because they're rivals. However, sententious.
I just see Kira just moving away from the
Can't
camera.
rush art, man.
Like before the cause, I stayed over at her house for 4 days as we made corsets together. She witnessed me screaming as I made my wig, and then she abandoned me. It's fine.
Oh, how rude.
I didn't really do anything else on Friday. Saturday, I was up bright and early, put on my corset, my 2 to 3 inch high Edwardian boots, and this massive wig that sticks out to here. And I wore that all morning, and then I went back to the hotel room and okay, so I'm a big fan of Haas from My Hero Academia. He's my favorite character. So I got this dumb idea where I would make myself a shirt that says Haas Future Life on it. And basically for the rest of Saturday and Sunday, I just cosplayed as a trophy wife. And I went around taking pictures with Haas cosplaying. I'm your future wife. Hi. And most of the time they were like, oh my god, same. I love him. And so it was a really cool, chill cosplay, especially after Cherry, which was painful. I just got to look kind of hot and be comfortable in jeans and a blazer. I didn't do anything else exciting, but I really love that cosplay.
Nice. So I think I got everyone's cosplay written down. Did I miss anyone, or did everyone talk about their cosplays they already talked about?
Did anyone cosplay on Thursday, day 0 for badge pickup?
Joking,
I had
right?
a little.
I know you did, Console, because I ran into you.
I had a little Naruto group, and I was Shikamaru.
I could never. I cannot like go from off the road into a cosplay. Absolutely not.
I drove up in cosplay, so I was in cosplay for like 6 hours before I came to
Good
I'm not
God.
that kind of
We drove-
dedicated.
We drove 6 hours to get to Sakura Con, and we waited until we checked into the hotel, and then we just were like, nope, Kigus, and we just got in our Kigus and went to badge pickup.
Yeah.
I mean,
If it hadn't been for the 5-hour train ride, I might have done cosplay. I sometimes like showing up to badge pickup for Komori Con, which is much closer to home for me, in costume. But it's and I'm sure other people who had long trips can relate. It's just not worth it when you have such a long ride to and from con.
oh, I know. That's how I'm gonna feel when I go to KomoriCon this year. It's a 6-hour drive from here to Medford all the way to Portland. Leave at 2, get to Portland at 9 in the morning. No, thank you.
Dang.
At KomoriCon for day 0, me and my sister had to use Tokyo Mingyu Kikis. I wish I brought it to TokyoCon for day 0, but I just did not have enough room in my suitcase. Here's the funny joke. I can pack lighter. I can put everything in my carry-on for like a 10-day vacation, but I can only fit like 4 cosplays in this huge suitcase. Okay,
That's fair.
That's
fair.
It's so funny.
We take
Now-
we take 2 suitcases apiece.
All right. Now I know Consul, Kira, Jason, and Emerald are familiar with the question. This is always my favorite question. Show of hands here who have had either a convention or cosplay horror story they'd like to share. Raise your hands for cosplay convention stories or cosplay mishaps.
For this specific con?
Yes. All right. Show of hands. 1, 2. Okay. I counted. Did Della Mischief, did you raise your hands?
Well, like, I don't really have a horror story for Sakura Con, but like I have horror stories for other cons.
Well, that's for a podcast later down the road that I'm going to save in
Okay.
October.
I'll save it.
Enchanted, what is your Sakura Con horror story mishap?
Okay, so this relates back to my hotel chaos. So I had a photo shoot at 2, which happened to be with my con bed. And so previously, the lock on our hotel room door was not working. You could not lock our hotel room. It would just open, so we had to go through the adjoining room to get into ours. And basically, I'm left the hotel room. I'm already stressed. I'm trying to get ready for this photo shoot. And I go to like clean up my makeup as I'm doing it, and the water is off. And so I'm just like, oh, cool, that's great. And so I end up leaving the hotel late. I'm running down the street in heels and a corset and a giant wig, and I can feel my wig starting to slip because I thought I grabbed spirit gum from home. It was not spirit gum. It was the sealant from my leather paint on my shoes. Which I didn't look at the bottle because I was in a rush. I was just dabbing it on my face. Being like, okay, let's hope this sticks. Thankfully, my wig survived, but erased my cosplay horror story from shock.
That's never fun with wig mishaps. Emerald, did you raise your hand as well? Yes. So what is your quick little convention horror story?
Okay, sorry, I just had to make sure I wasn't muted. Okay, so this is more of a collection of little things. So I switched back and forth between two cosplays during con. I had two different versions of Ochako. This is the third that I'm wearing right now. But I conveniently left at home. But I just like little mishaps kept happening. I had these really fancy raspberry pink tights that I ordered from Snag Tights that got lost somewhere in my room literally the day before I started packing for con, and I couldn't find them, and I was really depressed about that. And then the worst thing that happened was so I did go to that Himboology panel, but I had decided to switch out of Urukhara because I had been in her all day and I was sweaty. So I changed it back into John, and I didn't mention this earlier, but one of the things that I do for my John cosplay is I draw a big eye on my forehead, a big third eye, and so I couldn't get like for some reason I couldn't get my makeup to look as good as it did on the first day, so that was frustrating. And then but I was in a hurry because I wanted to make sure that I got back to the panel room on time, and so like I just did my best with everything, and reattaching all the eyeballs all over my outfit and
Is
stuff.
this John right here? This is like a drawing of the character.
Yeah, that's one of the that drawings of by that artist are the reason why I wear a green vest. People
Oh,
tend to
and
draw
here's here's another version of the character.
yeah, people tend to draw him wearing like green sweaters and green vests. I'm not sure why. I don't think there was anything in the book, or I mean in the show, that associates him with the color green, except for the logo
And
of the
here's
actual TV show. But anyway,
and here's another version.
yeah, people tend to associate him with the color green. Anyway, so I'm in this three-piece suit with the vests, the undershirt, the tie, the jacket and the pants and the shoes and everything, and the crown, and all my buttons, and all of these eyeballs all over it that are attached by magnets. So like the magnets are hot glued to the eyeball, and then there's another magnet that holds it in place on my tie and on my shirt and stuff. And for some reason the magnets just didn't like me that night, and just like as I was waiting for this panel, but I ended up getting there an hour early for some reason. Just like I just managed to lose every single magnet from the start of waiting for the panel to the end of the panel itself. The only eyes that stayed safe were the ones that were hot glued to my crown. And it was just weird little stuff like that pretty much all throughout con. At one point, the back of the skirt of my longer dress split on the seam, but it was the part of the dress that you can't see while I'm sitting, so it ended up working out safely. But I was just having like little stressful cosplay mishaps pretty much throughout the convention like that. But I still had a really good time. And if you haven't seen my friend Lana's Himboology panel, Consul mentioned that they, I'm not sure what your pronouns are, that you've helped out before with the panel. And I just want to say, if you have a chance to see Lana's panel, I think you'll really enjoy it. It's very funny, and I'm really glad I went. And I just really want to reiterate that despite having all of those crazy things happening and having to ride the scooter through the rain, I had a really good time, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who made it special.
Jason, you said you had a cosplay horse convention horror story for this con this year?
Alex did,
Yes.
but yeah.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead, Alex.
it was Friday, so first actual official cosplay we were getting into, and it was Full Metal, and I'm short, and so I had to, of course, hem the pants prior con. And I was trying to get them on. I had longer boots than I had last time, and so we realized we're gonna have to cut a little bit of the extra hem so that I could actually get them on. And I could not get the pant leg. I got it over my calf, but then I couldn't get it back off. And so I was struggling to get it off. And finally I just decided, you know what, we're going to cut the hem. I might as well just pull it off. And if it rips, it rips. It rips, but not the hem. The whole side of the leg ripped open.
From the knee down.
And I'm like, oh crap. Okay, this is fine. I'll just sew it. Well, this was our first con that we did not bring our sewing kit. So I was like,
Ooh,
"Shit."
that's a big no.
We left. Yeah, you already dropped the bad word bomb in this. We can't do it anymore.
Well, yeah, only Kira said the F word. Everyone else still has one F word to use.
Well, there you go.
I won't.
We had talked about it prior to leaving too. We were like, oh, look at this. I've been going to con since 2007. They went to con last year and multiple cons. I mean, we went Kumo, Colossal, Sakura. We just went to a bunch, and we didn't need the repair kit at any of those cons. We were like, do we really want to pack it? It's another bag we have to take. Let's just leave. Yeah, go figure. First time we don't bring it. We used so many safety pins on those pants, but I made it work. He was able to wear the cosplay.
I had to run all the way down. We were in an 8th floor hotel. So I'd go all the way down, go to the reception and be like, is there any way I could borrow a pair of scissors? And thankfully somebody had my back. But yeah, so yeah, safety pins. It worked out. It worked out good. But yeah, that was my snafu because I was like, you know what? I might just have to do a different cosplay.
Usually how it goes. So finally, last but not least, gonna ask everyone's overall experience and whatnot. Emily and Amy, overall experience for Sakura Con, and this is a con you would recommend to someone who's wanted to check out cons of the Pacific Northwest.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. It's the biggest convention in the Pacific Northwest, and there's so much to do, so much to see. The cosplay that everyone brings forth to the table. Like, I took so many pictures of people over the weekend, and they're always so nice and supportive. Like, it's not only the convention, but it's the people who go to, and it's like the quick friendships that you make. And go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think there's been like, and I prefaced this a little earlier before we started recording about how I'm from the East Coast and how I've been to mostly East Coast conventions. And I will say that having gone to pretty much all of the big anime conventions on the East Coast and comparing it to Sakura Con and Komori Con are better. Sorry, everyone on the East Coast. But like I've been to the big ones that everyone talks about. That you're like, you gotta go to Otakon, you gotta go to Katsucon. Don't go to Katsucon. Anyway, but the SakuraCon is like probably my favorite one to do because of how many people go, how it's like a wide variety of folks too. Sometimes I feel like some cons end up being kind of young, like just a younger demographic, but SakuraCon has like a very wide demographic and everybody's so nice. Every time I get into a costume and I'm like, oh, nobody's going to want to stop and take pictures of this. This is like, everybody does this. I'm always proven wrong. Folks are so happy to come up and like interact with you. That's not something that I was ever used to getting before coming to like a convention like SakuraCon. So I highly recommend it to anyone, especially cosplayers though.
I've never had a bad year at SakuraCon.
No.
They always bring it, and most of the time, like, scheduling works out perfectly, and the panels are always great to go to.
Yeah.
Again, I can't recommend Cosplay Chess enough. I would just
It's so
go
nice.
to late night Cosplay Chess. Chess. It's so good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So yes, resounding yes.
Yeah.
So overall experience was really good then.
Yeah,
Yes,
the experience was good.
absolutely.
I know I complained a lot at the beginning, but I had
Well,
to get out.
I know. Again, new con, COVID slightly dying down. You know, it happens.
Yeah,
You
at
know?
the end of the day, Sakura Con is Sakura Con. It's gonna bring a consistent experience every single year.
Yeah, it's always
Oh,
gonna
no.
be like up here.
Wholeheartedly, I can agree. Pingu, same question. Overall experience for Sakura Con, and is this a con you would recommend to people wanting to check out cons in the Pacific Northwest?
I would absolutely recommend it. I had a wonderful weekend despite all the hiccups and all the things we love to complain about. I agree with just the way the people are. I just think that mostly everyone is there to just have a good time. Lots of heartfelt camaraderie just throughout the whole cosplay community, just a really positive vibe. Um, I definitely got asked for pictures when I didn't expect it to. Like when I did Rainbow High, like I had my little group and we had a bunch of people ask for pictures and like that was awesome. I had a really wonderful experience with all the Soul Eater shenanigans. Having it over Easter weekend is fun because there's people with Easter baskets on Sunday. I got lots of free I got like free stuff from artists who shared the same passions as me when I showed up in cosplay, buying art of the character I was cosplaying as. So that was really awesome. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are just kind of the best versions of themselves because they're happy to be there. I had this dude take a picture of me and my friend on his phone, and we were like, hey, will you take some of us on our phone? Because we were trying to find someone to take pictures of us. And then he just proceeded to do like a whole photo shoot for us. And no matter how aggressively we tried to beg him, he was like, no, this is for fun. And he took some beautiful photos. So you never know what's going to happen at Sakura Con, and just be open to talking to people. Keep your schedule open-ish, try to find fun things to go attend. Like, don't forget that this is a con full of amazing programming, but don't keep yourself too busy because all these little magical moments will happen. So yeah, I definitely recommend it, and I'm definitely going to go next year, and I'm going to plan things a little bit more spread out so I'm not running through the streets of Seattle in heels late to things.
I feel like with those who went this year will at least know where they're gonna go for next year, depending on if they're gonna do the split building again. Double Mischief, same question. Overall experience, and is this a con you would recommend?
Overall experience was super fun, and I would definitely recommend. Just the friendly atmosphere at Sakura Con, whether you're by yourself, like some of the times I was by myself, like in Ridgeline. I made friends in Ridgeline real fast. Just everybody's willing to talk to each other. And the amount of like fandom you see from all over, anime, comics, D&D, there's just so much at Sakura Con. And I feel like there was such a good variety of panels that hit all those fandoms that like there was something for everyone. And of course, like I always recommend going to Cosplay Chess because it's super fun. You can go to the late night game Friday night, or go to the main game on Saturday, or go to improv chess on Sunday. So there's always some sort of chess game going on. It's also a lot of fun to just, you don't know who you're gonna run into. I was cosplaying Alicia on Saturday, and I ran into a lot of different Pokemon cosplayers, and we just took a bunch of photos together, and it was happy to know that this kind of obscure character who's mainly more of the games and only appeared once in the anime is still recognized. And there's a lot of people that will recognize the obscure characters and will be happy to see you in these costumes and being so excited. And then it's also, you'll see these characters that that you think you're so obscure, and you'll see someone cosplaying them and you'll be so happy to see that too.
Nice. Enchanted, same question. Overall experience for this con, and is this a con you would recommend?
I had a great time. The atmosphere is always fantastic at Sakura Con. People are amazing. As everybody else has said, they're friendly and welcoming, and you just see a really wide variety of people. I noticed in more recent in this year and last year, you've been seeing a lot of people who like, oh, this is their first con because they watched cosplayers on TikTok and stuff and got back into fandom over COVID. and it seemed like a really good environment for newbies to jump into. But there were issues with like the programming schedule, but overall, I had a great time. And I'm going to take a moment to plug the cosplay contest here because that's my passion at Sakura Con. If you can, go. Everybody who saw it puts in so much effort, from just the walk-ons to the performances to the judges to the coordinators. They killed it this year. It's usually 3 hours. They got it down to 2, which was amazing. I didn't think we'd manage to do that. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it to anybody who's looking at cons in the Pacific Northwest. I'm gonna miss it.
Jay, same question. Overall experience, and is this a con you would recommend?
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Sorry. Sorry, hold on.
Thank you.
You're good. You're off. You're not muted.
Hi.
We have a kid and we were like trying to get him ready for bed. Sorry. Overall con experience for me, I think it was really fun. You know, we didn't actually experience a lot of the con itself, you know, due to lack of panel attending.
But what we did attend, we had a blast at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we bought a lot of merch this year. Most merch I've bought at a con, and I'm super excited to be able to put it all on display and all that. So it was like, yes, that's so fun. I always recommend Sakura Con. As I said at the beginning, 2007 was my very first con at Sakura Con. And ever since I've gone all but 1 year to Sakura Con, not counting the COVID year. But I always recommend it. I'm like, oh, you've never been to a con? Let's go to Sakura Con. That's a great starter con, or Komori Con, you know, because Komori Con is the little sister. And so it's like, well, do I want to start you big or do I want to start you a little small? You know, I started these guys at Kumo, and then we went to Sakura Con. So, you know, but I don't know. You guys recommend Sakura Con?
Definitely.
I definitely would. I mean, like he said, he's been cosplaying and going to cons for a long time, and me and her, we've been wanting to do it for a long time, but you know, we're like, we don't know anybody in the scene. How now that we're older, like we didn't start going to cons till after we hit 30. Like, this is kind of weird. Isn't it kind of like a young person's kind of thing? Is it gonna be kind of like, what are you guys doing? And still an anime? Like, what the heck? We should be older and grown up. So we're like, well, is it really a scene that we can be a part of? And yes, I love seeing how, I mean, young, old, people taking their kids, us taking our 11-year-old, people who are like in their 80s still going. It's so welcoming, and it's amazing to see that. I mean, like, nobody there, and if they are, they're chased out, you know, and it's great to have such camaraderie. People you don't even know, you're like, oh my God, you're cosplay, you're in the same nerdy stuff as me. And you're like, yes, and you geek out together. Or I saw somebody that was cosplaying from a webcomic that I read. I like fans so hard. I was
He
like,
bailed on
oh
us.
my gosh.
He was like,
yeah, I was like, I'm out, I gotta go.
Threw his pizza at me. And he's like, I'll be right back. And he took off. I was like, oh, bye. He comes back. He's like, they're from a webcomic. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Nice.
But it's so welcoming. It's so great to see, you know, the lip sync. Somebody went to go lip sync and they had a panic attack, and they're like, you know, just go sit down, calm, you know, bring it back together, and if you can do that, we'll move on, and if we'll come back to see if we're wanting to do it. And they did. They got back up there, and everybody was just cheering them on, like, yes,
the crowd was super supportive, and it was nice to be a part of.
Nice.
It's always such a welcoming committee, you know, community. There we go. Whatever that's the word.
Kind of the same.
Yeah. So
Nice.
overall, yes, a wonderful time as always. It's who you go with, you know. That's my con experiences have always been chalked up to who I go with. If there's con drama, it's usually in my own group. But otherwise, con is always amazing.
Nice. Emerald, same question. Overall experience for this con, and is this a con you would recommend?
I actually really had a great time. Despite some of the technical issues, I really think that a lot of that can be chalked up to just maybe not enough staff, and also, new building, like figuring out the new buildings. So I would say, I would definitely give them another chance in 2024 and beyond, because I really don't think that anything that I experienced was a experience ruining thing. I feel like it was more like, hey, these are things to watch out for next time, kind of thing. Whereas I never experienced cruelty from a staff member or anything that like put me off of coming back. And like everybody else has mentioned, the community itself is so welcoming and so friendly and so kind that even the things that did frustrate me a little bit didn't end up being as big of a deal, because there were so many people who are willing to stop and help me. And so like the time that I got stuck, like Pengu earlier mentioned that at late night, they lock almost all the doors. Well, one of those doors they locked was the wheelchair entry door to get out. But the one on the inside of the building was still unlocked. So I managed to get through the first door, but then couldn't get out the second door. But luckily there was another cosplayer leaving at the same time, and they managed to find a door that was unlocked for me and helped me get out. And it's little moments like that from this con that I remember the most, was people going out of their way to be kind to each other. And I feel like that is the kind of thing that I also want to be when I'm like that I want to project and carry on with me to other conventions as well, is that spirit of helping each other out when we're having a bad time or we're stuck. And I feel like this con really brought that in ways that I haven't experienced at other cons before as often, especially since becoming disabled. I feel like this year was a really shining example of how much just a little bit of kindness can turn your whole day around. So I definitely recommend this year. And like for people who did like have some issues this year, it's understandable if you're frustrated about them, but I really think that they just need more people who are willing to step up and volunteer to be staff. And I think that next year they'll have it in the bag. I have no doubt that they'll get it like that once they have more time to adjust.
Consuls, same question.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend Sakura Con. I may have a little bit of bias because one of my all-time favorite cosplay memories happened at Sakura Con. But yeah, just in general, love the con, great vibes, great experiences in the past and I'm sure in the future. One of the best communities is, in my opinion, the Pacific Northwest cosplay community. Because like I've gone to a bunch of different cons all over the US, and there's just nothing like Pacific Northwest, in my opinion, as far as the actual community itself. I think it's one of the best out there, cosplay wise. So great vibes, 10 out of 10. And yeah, a little flukes here and there is not going to stop me from attending Sakura Con. So would recommend.
Nice. And Kira, last but not least, same question.
I am super biased because for most of my 10 plus years cosplaying, it was the only convention I could afford to go to in a year. So I've been going for a long time, but regardless of what media the costume is from, I've never had a costume that was like poorly received. I mean, even I was wearing Lloyd, and he's like the #1 basic cosplay of 2022 and 2023. and people were excited to see me. I took photos with other Lloyds. Even normies walking by were like, "You look amazing." I was like, "Wow, thank you." There's a really good sized crowd there. There's always something to see. There's always someone new to meet. The cosplay contest, since the new person took over, I don't remember what her name is right now, but since the new person took over, it's been really well organized. I don't really have any complaints. Yeah, it has its irksome moments. I don't like having a call time of 7:45 for the cosplay contest, but like, whatever. I just went to bed early the night before. Can only recommend it.
Nice. So last but not least, again, I want to thank all 12 panelists for coming on here. This is the most that's ever been on this channel before, so that guest list may stay up on that totem pole for a while. Last but not least, Emily and Amy, would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media in case they ever want to follow you or look at your other cosplays?
Yeah, Cody, you want to go first?
Oh, sure, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'm teeny tiny coffee bean on pretty much everything, unless I couldn't fit it on Twitter, which is just teeny coffee bean, I think. But Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. I'm still on Tumblr.
That's still a thing?
Yeah, I'm still there. I post art mostly, so
Nice.
Yeah, Hayaka's pretty much everywhere on Twitter, on Instagram, and those are the two social media sites that I use the most. Maybe a small little Facebook page, but yeah, Hayaka's across the board.
Okay, so it's Hi, because I always for some reason I always thought it was Heya.
Oh, it's both. I like saying it like Haya, but it is my last name with my first initial, which would be Heya, but I like the sound of Haya more, so.
And I wasn't trying to diss on Tumblr. I just haven't seen or heard of Tumblr in a long time.
Yep, it's good for art.
Nice. And don't you also have an art Instagram as well as your Instagram name?
My Instagram is a combo, so if you see my Instagram right now, I really don't have my cosplays up at the forefront. It's really my artwork.
Okay. Double Mischief, real quick. Would you guys like to share your links to where people could find you?
Yes, you can find us on Instagram at doublemischief_cosplay. And that's it. So I'm not on Facebook anymore.
Enchanted, same question. Would you like to share your social media so people know where to find you?
Sure, I'm Enchanted Belle Cosplay on Instagram and TikTok, but I don't really post on TikTok. I just kind of lurk there and watch everybody else's content. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Nice. Jay, same question. Social media links so people could find you.
We're only really on Instagram. I mean, we have our own like Facebooks, but we don't do cosplay stuff there. But we're on Instagram as a team. We're Jaybirds Flock, like a flock of birds. Last time I gave you my handle, we were like, oh, better iterate that it's flock. But yes, we don't post a whole lot because we have not been able to book photographers, and it's hard to get photos of 3 with no photographer. But yeah, that's where you can find us.
Pengu, same question. Would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, Instagram and TikTok, just Pengu Cosplay, and then on YouTube, it's Pengu Cosplay Adventures. If anyone's interested in my drag, I go by Dottie, and the Instagram is ODotty. That's OHDOTTY.
Nice play on words there. Let's see. Emerald, same question. Would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media?
Sure. I go by Green Brown Girl. That's my cosplay name. And that's my Instagram handle. And I have a Facebook cosplay page, but I don't update it as often as I do Instagram. So the best place right now is to find me on Instagram. I also post my occasional art there and just other pictures that make me happy from my life.
Nice. Console, same question. Would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media?
Yes, it is console.of.cosplay on pretty much everything. That's CONSUL .of.cosplay. I'm primarily on Instagram, but I also have a TikTok and a YouTube, and I just started a Lemonade which is the new app created by the people who do TikTok. So yeah. But yeah, same username all the way around.
Nice. And last but not least, Kira, would you like to let people know where they can find you on social media?
My name is Kira's Cosplay. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. But let's be real, I don't post on TikTok, and my Facebook is regurgitated content from my Instagram. So if you want to see anything relevant, Instagram is the place to find me.
Links to will be in the description below. You all know where you can find me. Facebook, Instagram. I'll linger on Twitter here and there, but not always on there. So I think that should do it. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming on for this podcast to share their experience from Sakura Con 2023. Hope to see you all potentially next year. And yeah, and for those who watch, be sure to follow them on all their social medias. As always, I'm Wendy Unknown. Once again, until next time, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you for watching.